All right, Shalom, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Different Thinking Chat with Reverend Benson Akhigbe II. And welcome, sir.
Thank you. With also Pastor Daniel Idienumah, because he's my co-host today.
So today we'll just be looking at, we're still on the series Dream Well, Dream Big, Dream Again. And we'll be looking at some of the things that we have heard in the course of the teaching. And before now, some questions came in, so we'll also look at those questions and then other conversations that may come up as we go. All right, so I'm just going to dive into the questions straight away. Someone sent in a question and is on the one of the things you said in the first teaching, the first weekend service, Dream Big, Dream Again, where you were talking about that it's not our responsibility to create what God is doing, but it's our responsibility to act on what God is doing. And the person is asking in relation to what to do when you are in a waiting season. Okay, so how do you effectively deal with the waiting season? That's what the person is asking. Especially now that, there's a temptation to just want to do something. Yeah, so how do you handle that tension and stay in that waiting season?
Thank you, Daniel. That's a great question. Somebody said that when you come out of the room and go into the hallway and there's no other room to enter, that place is like hell. But there must be a door somehow. You see, we must define what is waiting. If we take waiting as any other thing, like you are telling me, please wait for me here. Wait for me here normally is doing nothing. Just sit down, be lounging or something, or just be relaxing. But biblical waiting is different from the waiting we know. Just like people say, I hope something. That hope they are saying is like a wish, which is different from biblical hope. Waiting in the kingdom is like you saying, honoring where God is going. That's waiting. It's not waiting doing anything. Okay, what is it saying right now that I need to go? Because we have been schooled in our training, in our educational system, one, to go alone, to be competitive, not to be cooperative. And we've been told that is one answer. No. There are different answers to a question. And because of that, we feel that when we are not doing something, then we are laid back.
Yeah.
But we are human beings, not human doings. So we need to get that level where we say, okay, what right now that nothing seems to be happening, what was the last instruction? I will stay with that. Yeah, the last instruction until I get the next one. Because there is something he wants to develop in me now with the formal instruction he has given to me. And maybe I am not even ripe enough for where I think I'm going. And that's what is called premature exposure. That you are exposed prematurely. For example, Moses. He knew he was the deliverer. And at 40, he became a premeditated murderer. He looked here and looked here and killed somebody and hid him in the sand. But breeze, the desert wind will come. Yeah. And the person's hand was sticking out. And everybody knew that he was a murderer. So he needed to run away. That's premature exposure. He had the mentality of a king, a mentality of a deliverer for those 40 years. He was raised in the palace because you cannot have a proper mentality and deliver purpose. Yeah. Maybe I'll stop here.
Okay, so waiting in essence is not you being idle.
No. It's not being idle. Okay. It's understanding and honoring where God has said you should be. Yeah. Many people think promotion is that I need to leave this level to another. Promotion means I am for motion.
Promotion. Wow.
And where does I am for motion means only forward or upwards? Motion can be downwards. motion can be sideways. So, to you, it may be a demotion. But to God, it's necessary for the training for where you are going. So to lead a nation, you need to understand how the system that you are in works. So you have to start small for somebody who works with the established authority or ruling class then. So you have to be the manager of Potiphar's house.
Interesting.
And because you are not only ruling the elite or the upper class, you have to understand what happens in the prison. So you have stayed in the palace. You have now put in the pit. So you understand what it means for you to be alone.
Yeah.
Then you have gone to to Potiphar's house, another form of training. Then you get into the prison to understand administration. And all these gifts is not that you went to school. The gift that Joseph had was was a prophetic gift. And so, if you look at the steps of Joseph, I'm not sure you want to take that step. Because there was sometimes nothing was happening in his life.
Sure, yeah.
And there was one time maybe he was getting a breather. I will soon get into Potiphar's house. Potiphar would take me to my father's house. Maybe always thinking of his father's house. And now he finds himself in prison. Those are the waiting seasons for where he was going. So when he finally got there, he understood that it's not him that brought himself here. So that waiting develops internal structures. In fact, I call it the taproot system, where you understand that where there's scarcity, you dig deep for water, and in the digging deep for water, there is that stability.
Okay, so that's just going to take me in the direction of yet another question someone was asking. Not exactly like this, but we could tie both together. And just for our audience watching, you can also send in your questions online, and then we'll take as much as we can. The person is along the line of sustenance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a dream, all right? Let me start with where we are coming from. I have a dream, but I'm in the waiting season.
Yeah.
So, but there has to be sustenance. Okay, so to bring it into what the exact question the person was asking, the person is saying something like, I have a dream. I'm looking at, this is the cost of my dream, but this is present reality. And present reality is, okay, I may have a saving culture, trying to save towards being able to pursue this dream, but that's for the future. In the moment, there is hunger. And I need to be able to live day by day and, sort out all of that. So how do we, both for this question and then in the season of waiting, how do you marry that? That's it. Yeah.
This is a brilliant question. But what I see in that thread that you are saying, how do I wait? How do I sustain? I. So you are alone. We were schooled to be alone. We were schooled to be competitive. And that's why when somebody is writing an exam, he's blocking so that, I'm not saying you should go and spy in exams.
Sure.
But I'm saying that I need to be number one. I need to be, and it's everywhere now. We are competing with one another. Because it's only I, you have issues. You have a dream that you want to do something, or God has told you, because this is it. Because this dream we are talking about is not the dream of it's not the dream of having your own, or thinking this and thinking that and saying, or let me try to put it this way. It's not about you bringing up your dream, formulating it. And for everyone that is listening to us here right now, is it your dream or God's dream? If it's God's dream and somebody else has something that you are doing, that you are actually working out, it's time for us to understand that. Let me put it this way. You have a dream that you are already working. It's being funded. And I do not have mine. Or I know mine. but there is no fund for it. You know, what we have been schooled is that I should see how I can fund my own while you fund your own. Yes. What about if we cooperate? You say you don't have, how do I sustain? What if I go and in one way or the other try to support you and work to make it happen and not compete with you? Even if I feel that I will do the same thing with you, but I cannot do it exactly the same way you will do it. So I see in that thread, I. What about I say, okay, I don't have the money now, because money is not the issue for the dream. Just keep on dreaming. And if you keep on dreaming and you are writing it down, and there is no funds for it, and it has to be like, it can be like that for some time, then go and help somebody that is doing his own. And help that person succeed. Now you are developing stamina. You are developing administrative ability. You have seen, I will see you make mistakes. I will put it in my belt. And I will not, because that one becomes a training moment. Then for me, I will now take my money, enter that, go and pursue it, make mistakes, and maybe drown in it.
Yeah.
But in my supporting you and making it happen for you and doing those things, and that's where we have the Igbo apprenticeship system. At the end of the day, the other person knows the roots, the rudiments of it. I'm not talking about business. It could be anything. Yeah. It could be anything. It could be you helping somebody to take care of the children while she's raising, and parenting is overwhelming for that person. And you know that you have been called to talk to children. You are now waiting to start a nursery school, and there's no money for the nursery school. And meanwhile, there's nursery around you.
Yeah.
So, maybe. But it's a conversation we should have and process. Because I don't like to give one straight answer. But I'm trying to get it, okay, I've seen it like this. The situation of the person may be peculiar. But I can tell you, your dream, the dream that God has given to you, which will be your dream, is not meant to be achieved by you alone. You cannot. You must always think that God has something bigger than you think. And if it's bigger than you think, my brother or my sister, listen to me. Definitely, people will always come to collaborate and cooperate with you instead of competing with you.
So on the issue of serving, service relates to dreaming. I remember I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and the person was asking that would serving someone else's dream not make me forget my dream? So there is that. Then there is also the issue of, okay, I want to serve this person's dream, while I am able to put myself together to pursue mine. And then there is now, what is the exit strategy to now be able to leave this one and pursue mine without, a conflict. So I don't know if you have something to say along that line.
Wonderful question again. It's God's dream, not your dream, that He has deployed to you. And that dream will still live on even after you exit this place. Do you create an exit strategy for leaving planet Earth? But you must always leave.
Yeah.
Now, I read a scripture for somebody yesterday. It said, if you have not been faithful in what is another man's, who will give you your own? It's not me that said it. It's our master that said it. Why do we... I know that some people have served other people and they have used them. But that cannot be a theology for you. Because the person that did that has his own separate. And we don't know the harvest the person is getting now. Because I always tell people, people are always saying, oh, we want to go to heaven, I will make heaven and everything. I agree, there's a heaven to go. But right now, are you bringing hell to your life? Or are you bringing heaven to your life? Or are you bringing hell to a situation or heaven to a situation? I give you an example. And this was a practical example. Somebody, he built a big estate. He's no more now. He has exited the planet. But he helped somebody to raise money to build an estate. And the person did not give him a dime. And he was alive. I went to listen to him. He encountered the Lord in prison, from a banker, MD of a bank, of an investment bank, and crashed and everything. And he was in prison. He read the scriptures in the Bible. He read the Bible in the prison, and encountered the Lord. And he came into ministry. But before then, and when he came out, after doing that for that person, he didn't know he has developed inner capacity, even with the usage. Somebody called him and said, there's an opening to buy this estate and this land to develop estate. How would they call you? You don't have no money. But there is experience that he has gained by helping somebody, even when that person used him. And he after he hung the phone, he heard God telling him, call the person and tell him that you will buy. And that, you see why I say waiting, following step by step.
Yeah.
And he called the person and said, I will buy. And then he went to God again. What is it? And he said, okay, I've given you favor in 2 banks. Somebody gave him his office to use as his office. He didn't have an office. Somebody brought, the person that gave him the office has a friend who I've never seen him before. Gave him his property as collateral for the loan.
Wow.
You see where the waiting is. What if he had said, I'm not going to help? Even if you have a contract with the person chickened out or left you or deceived you. No bitterness. Finally, he got everything. He built the estate. And his story changed. This is practical example. There is no way you will serve somebody and help the person's dream come to pass. And listen, before you do that, make sure that God told you to go there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because sometimes we go to serve with an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And that which is not good. And if you go to do that, the person already senses something that maybe you have come to do something. And if the person is not straightforward, he will first of all be able to get his own pound of flesh first. So if you know that this is where God has sent you to do, go there. Serve with all your heart. There is nobody that serves and becomes small. That means that Jesus is a liar. He said if you want to be great, serve. You want to be number one, be the slave of all. It's either I believe him or I believe what the word is telling me. I hope we've been. It's a discussion we still have to go and talk and look at it from different dimensions, because you can't really follow Jesus wholeheartedly. Men may cheat you, but in the final analysis, you will be at peace, you have joy, and I tell you the truth, what people are looking for will come to you cheaply.
I think the fundamental thing, like you said, is going back to that place where you're being led by the voice of God.
Thank you.
To serve there. So that's so important and so fundamental. Okay, let's talk a little bit about adversity. Because in dreaming, and especially when you start to put some action to those dreams, you're bound to face some difficulties, some challenges. The question of how am I able to differentiate what is an adversity from a step that I took that I shouldn't have taken, So that it's that being able to differentiate that.
Thank you very much. You see, that's why you see when people say, I'm doing nothing, what am I doing now? Because God will not lead you to something that he has not prepared you for. It may look overwhelming, but he has prepared you for it.
Wow.
And even if you have made a mistake and genuinely you made that mistake, or even if you did it wrongly, and you come back to him and say, I have done what you said I should not do, there's another door, but not to take it for granted. Not to go and treat people as if they are rags. But in the genuineness of your heart, you have done well. So if you took a wrong step, Like I tell people, you are going here and you're genuinely following him. You find and you're supposed to be here. You find yourself there. So you can retrace your step if you took it wrongly. But sometimes, what I've seen, especially as for kingdom citizens, when there's one little adversity, they feel God is not there. Especially when you say, okay, we have this instant gratification. We have this 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and everything. Yeah. That if it doesn't happen like that, then I don't feel the hand of God is in. Because it is in adversity you build up your faith. It's in adversity you stand steady based on what you believe. Because if there's no adversity coming to shake you out of it, how will you know what you believe? Because your anchor should be on what he has said. Your anchor should be what he has commissioned you to do. And do you believe it? Because it's from there courage will come. So, if you don't look at it holistically like that, you will think that the adversity is from the wicked one, the enemy of our soul. But meanwhile, the adversity is a trial to test you, not to tempt you, so that trial is to test you, so that when the real one comes, you will not break in battle.
Okay.
So you have this, for example, the bear and the lion prepared him for Goliath.
True.
And who knew when he was fighting the bears and the lions? And you find out that when people say, oh, David is a shepherd, in my study of Psalm 23, shepherds are the lowliest job of the family. You know, that type of, you cannot be in the army, you cannot do some things. So it's till today in Israel, you still have shepherds who are 15 years. So when David said, the Lord is my shepherd, he equated God to the lowliest part. He understood that he took the lowliest job. And can we subject ourselves to that?
Wow.
To do the lowliest job before the main adversity comes. In the lowliest job, he faced the lions and the bears that his brothers could not face in the war front. Which is humility.
So invariably, our focus should not be on whether this is adversity or this is my mistake.
Thank you. Our focus should be on him. And even if you have made mistakes, there's an escape route. God is your greatest fan. I'm not saying that it's a fan trying to endorse every of your move. But I want you to know it's with you, it's for you. If you understand that, even when you have made mistake, you run into his hands. But if you believe that God, because when I say God now, some people see somebody on the throne that is white, with blurry eyes, telling you, I will get you. That's not who our Father is. He's in front of us, he's behind us, he's above us, he's with us. And you know what? He's in us.
Wow. That's so good. Okay, I'll take us back a bit to some of the fundamental questions around the series, or let's say the foundational questions. For instance, from everything you have said, what we are talking about is actually God's dream for us. You know, that's the dream that were inspired, in us by God. So I'm looking at it from the angle of how do I differentiate between God's dream and my dream? And then are my dreams bad? For example, I could have a dream of going to Dubai for vacation. Is that a bad dream? And the fact that it may not be God's dream, does that make it less of a dream? How am I supposed to approach that dream? I've been in a circle where someone said, I believe that all my dreams are from God.
Yeah.
So.
And I thank God for that person, because I don't like stereotyping dreams. These are spiritual dreams, these are physical dreams, these are no. The Bible says, delight yourself in the Lord. In my dealings with him, in my serving him, in my obeying him, in my loving him and him loving him, in the interaction of worship, desires are bettered in my heart by him. So why do I think of going somewhere and not another place? No doubt, you can also delight yourself in something else, and those desires will come. So, I desire to jump off from the airplane, skydiving. Some people think it's not a spiritual dream. It's carnal. But we don't understand that we are spirits. And if I delight myself in it, I'm not talking about you watching, being on social media 5 hours a day, then coming up with a dream, which may not be bad, because it may not affect anybody. But I desire to take a vacation around Europe. Maybe clear desires from the Lord, one to teach me, maybe some things he's doing. So what I'm trying to say is that don't stereotype your dreams. Don't put it in a compartment. This spiritual dream, this is my emotional dream, this is my physical dream, this is my this thing. Dream is dream. And if you are like that, you find out that in a day you can, if you sit down and write your dreams, it may be more than 100, and still counting.
Wow.
A dream might be, one day I want to learn how to make so and so soup. It looks very...
Yeah. So what then are selfish dreams? Or there's nothing like selfish dreams?
Yeah. You see, that's why I said, are you delighting yourself in him or something else? You can motivate me to do something concerning what God has told me. I can only also be envious of you and be jealous of you and start my own.
True.
And the next thing I'm thinking of is that when I hear about you, I will no longer celebrate you. I will be thinking of how to pull you down. But if I'm inspired by you, because we learn by modeling.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary was given a dream by God. You are going to have. The moment she accepted it, be it unto me according to your word. He said, go and meet your sister, your cousin Elizabeth. The people call her barren. She's 6 months past.
Yeah.
If you can believe that somebody who is past giving birth, for with God, nothing. You see, God needed to show her a model. I'm not saying Elizabeth was a virgin, but what was happening in Elizabeth's life was, humanly speaking, impossible. And the two of them came together, and we have still not recovered from what they did for two women coming together to bond. So that's it.
Okay. So it's been an interesting conversation so far. We're going to wrap it up very soon, but I'm going to take a question, and I'm sure a lot of young people will probably be interested in this question also. Is still on the issue of, having to put action to some of the dreams. And someone asked that some of the dreams God gives to me cannot, as it were, it doesn't bring money. But there is the pressure from family, from society, on some form of return on investment, especially if they trained you and they felt that they trained you very well. So how do I deal with that tension of, I have a dream, my dream may not bring immediate cash, but there's pressure on from family. Everybody is expecting a return on investment. Parents are telling you, I trained you. Now that you have graduated, you should be taking care of me. Stuff like that. So how do you manage that reality?
Wonderful question. And is what we face.
Yes.
You see, the person that gave you the dream can handle things for you. All these things tell him. You will now discover later that the people telling you, saying, well, since you have chosen this thing, they will come around. But really, this is what I always tell people. If you are not willing to die for what you believe, you can't have it.
Wow.
That means you'll be ridiculed. And the funniest thing is that the people ridiculing you are the ones you are going to save in future. So are you willing to die for what you believe? Because most times, when we get into the water and it's shaking, if our belief is not anchored on him, the water will shake us. The adversity will shake us. So if that's your dream, are you willing to die for it? If that's what you feel, this is what you... Because if you are not, you won't get it. It's if I perish, I perish. So, do you really think that if you are pursuing your God-given dream, even your friends will like you? Because they may not be seeing what you are seeing.
Yeah.
And they are not even against you. They just feel that you are out of your mind. That's what Jesus' brothers and sisters do. He's out of his mind.
True.
Our brother says the Messiah.
True.
He's out of his mind. So, do you really want to be out of your mind?
Let me just chip this in because of time.
Yeah.
And especially for millennials, Gen Zs, we're in a 5G world. Everything either happens super fast or shouldn't happen at all. So this being able to endure this tenacity, is there like a way to cultivate it, or does it come by impartation? Is it how do you get it? Because it's not common, especially amongst these people. The millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. We are used to instant noodles, instant coffee, 5G.
Everything for 6G is coming. Everything for us is fast. But can you quickly create a baby? They may be thinking about that. But everything that is that comes without resistance create what is called instant gratification in you. And not sometimes it takes a long time for God to act suddenly. And that's why when things are broken these days, we just throw them away. So if a marriage is broken in one place, we throw it away. I hope you know the word was broken, but God came to fix it.
Yeah.
And did something even before the word. In the beginning there was chaos. He sorted out the chaos. Man brought chaos back. And what if he has left us? It was in hot pursuit for us. So, and imagine you are asking God, and that's why you say impartation. Yeah. Asking God, give me patience. No. Patience is not imparted. Patience is developed when you go through some challenges. So when you say give me patience, it puts you through there. You didn't pass it, you go it again. That is where they try. So you find out the blacksmith in making the sword. Yeah. As he beats it, he looks for the gray areas. If there's a gray area, he puts it into the fire again. Because if there's gray area, that's where the sword will break when the fight starts. So are there gray areas in your life that cannot be fixed in 2 months? That can you learn forgiveness in 2 days? If there's no hurt, how will you learn forgiveness? Oh Lord, impart me with forgiveness. I don't want to be bitter. There are things that will come your way that want you to be bitter.
Yeah.
And that's what we must ingrain by delaying gratification. And that's why a lot of depression is now. So, emotional health. That's why I will introduce you to inner healing. And also, let me say this about the Adlam School of Supernatural Reformation and Transformation, where basically it's about beliefs so that you can actually walk in the supernatural.
Yeah.
And we're starting it on this 31st of July, which is on Monday, the second day of the week. And we run for 3 days a week and 2 days online for those that are doing on-site. But there are those for online only. For that one will be for 8 weeks, while this one will be for 4 weeks, with practical sessions being delivered. The truth of the matter is that we have some beliefs here, but has not captured our heart. We know what I'm saying now, most people know it. But let's work it out. And that working it out, God is not even allowing you to do it alone. He will still be with you.
Yeah.
So we need to now say, it takes 9 months for a woman to bring forth a baby. It takes, for even these people who are Gen Alpha or Gen Z and millennials, before they started working, it took some time.
Yes.
And when they were working, they failed severally.
Yeah.
They were patient in going through it. That's the human development. That's the process. God has put some things in place. If we bypass process, we will come out with genetically modified organisms. And it is not good for where you are going, because you have been hurriedly processed. You have come out prematurely. And so I will even invite them to join us. And we have about, if you want the scholarship, I'm sure you can give your number now so that he can call you. And because he's one of them. Because I'm asking, I told you I will ask you a question now. Because we really want to raise people who are supernaturally, naturally.
Yeah.
Not only because people believe that, when you go to this type of schools, you become a pastor. No. Being a pastor or to teach people, it has to do with a lot of patience. It has to do with a lot of willing to die.
Yes.
And it's not everybody that will have it. Maybe in a church, maybe just be like 3% of everybody there. But everybody will do ministry wherever they find themselves.
Yeah.
And what we do in church might not be possible online, in the marketplace. Because you cannot be worshiping in the bank or worshiping in the marketplace, in the boardroom, and said, we want to hear the voice of God.
True.
They want to know it there. And you can, talking about the voice of God in that type of setting, you won't say, I just sense. You have to, when you sense it, you have to put it in a manner.
Yes.
That is the wisdom of God that men can accept.
Yeah.
So in this school, we are going to do that. Cultures will be impacted to you. The culture of the supernatural also, and how to change your mindset as it relates to some things. Maybe I will ask you, you went to the school, so how did you feel? What happened in the school?
Oh, well, yes, I was part of the very first set of the school. That was in 2016, and it was a life-changing moment.
Okay.
Many of the things we heard them for the first time, in the school. In terms of how to infiltrate into the spheres of influence, like you said, the mindset of the kingdom. I think for the first time it became very clear how much, we have been programmed in a certain way of thinking, and how we needed to deprogram and embrace, the kingdom mindset, so that we can live the way God has designed us to live, and not just come under what the system tells us to do. So it was a life-changing moment.
Thank you. So it can still be a life-changing moment today.
Of course.
And I want to welcome people to do that, to get registered for it and come for the practical session. And if you don't have the time to be here on site, the online experience is the same thing. And from every week you'll be brought into a Zoom training and an encounter time online with the facilitators.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know how they will get to us, or maybe you can give the number or anything, because you are part of the leadership of the school.
Yeah, so for those who would like to sign up, you could go to our website, www.globalreformationnetwork.org. And if you add /ASSROT, it takes you directly to the ASSROT page. Or you can send us a mail, assrot@globalreformationnetwork.org. Or better still, you can call or send a WhatsApp message to 080 8005 3106. That's 080 8005 3106.
I'm sure you take advantage of that number, because going through all these things, what about people that are not even good in terms of emails and all the rest?
Yeah.
But when you send a direct message to that WhatsApp number, we'll be able to, and if you can do that within the next 24 or 36 hours, we'll be able to see how we can put you in one of those people that we have scholarship for the sessions. And the registration is, what is the registration now? The fees?
The fees is 30,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but
some people can have the 100% of that tuition.
Yes.
And or some people can have 50% of it.
Yes.
Well, it depends on how you are going to call and say, I want to be a part of this school, and get it sorted out. So we would like to see you in the school very soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. I think this is where we're going to call it a wrap for this episode. But we'll be here again next week, same time, same channel, for another edition of Different Thinking Chat with Reverend Benson Akhigbe. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And shalom.
Shalom. God bless you.